Hi, welcome to the Los Olivos Wine Merchant and Cafe, where you not only get to taste California's Central Coast wines, but you also get to meet the winemakers. Today I have the pleasure, the honor of speaking with Mark Horvath of Crawford Family Wines. We'll be offering these three Crawford Family wines throughout the month of November at 20% off their retail price. We will also be offering a tasting flight of all three of the wines, so you can just taste them side by side, see which ones you like, and then you can purchase them at 20% off on maybe you like all three of them. We will also be having them by the glass, so you can experience them that way as well. Of course, by the bottle as well. Can you tell us real quick what you have here? I know Mark makes on any given year about a dozen wines, and we have three of them. So real quick, tell us what they are.
These three are fun. Like I say, authenticity is a really important thing, and so I make each wine sort of specific to the way I think that particular wine should be made. And even though I make several different Pinot Noirs every year, I try and focus them or have them be focused on where they're from, and I try and...
So they're all vineyard specific except for
Walk Slow.
Okay.
So with the Chardonnay, trying to get the best of both worlds in fermentation and winemaking techniques. So that one comes from Rita's Crown Vineyard, which is right at the very top center part of the Santa Rita Hills. Lots of diatomaceous earth, clay, limestone in the soil. I wanted to show off that soil, and I think stainless fermentation, you capture all the aromatics and all of that bright, crisp acidity, keep that in play. But then I want it to soften a bit over time, and so it spends a year in barrel, but they're older, neutral barrels. They don't impart flavor or aroma. They're just a perfect neutral vessel to help soften and add some complexity to the wine. And you get that sort of baking spices, thank you, that come out, and I think that's that time in barrel that it wouldn't have developed if it had just stayed in stainless steel for the whole year. So that one, specific to that space. The Zodovich Pinot Noir I make differently than the rest in that Zodovich is a deep sandy vineyard.
That's this one right here.
That's that in the middle. Very flat, beach sandy soil, and that tends to show off varietal correctness or varietal character really well. And so with that wine, the goal was to make as sort of transparent a look to the vineyard as I could do. So it's totally destemmed. I like to use some stems during fermentation on all of my Pinots. That one is completely destemmed. It spends a year in all neutral barrels, and it's bottled up and done. Whereas, for instance, the Walk Slow gets sort of all the opposite, the winemaking bells and whistles. So 30% whole cluster fermentation, 30% new French oak. It's the only new oak I use in my whole program. And then that one spends 16 months in barrel.
And how many different vineyards are in this?
It's a blend of 2 different vineyards in this vintage. It may be more any given vintage, but it depends on what I want to show off and what I have, what plays well together. This one's a blend
of... What Michaela says.
Yeah, which 2 grapes Michaela thought would be the best. This one for 2013 is a blend of Bent Rock and Radian, both on the far southwest corner of the Santa Rita Hills, and they're right next door to each other, but they really make different wines. My Radian is sort of rich and more fruit-centered, whereas the Bent Rock is really kind of lean and angular, has a lot more earthy quality, and they play really well together. They balance each other.
Friends.
That's it. That's
great. Well, Mark, thank you so much for coming
My pleasure.
out. And,
cheers.
We look forward to hosting your wines this month.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thanks for coming to Los Olivos too. Stop by and see Mark and Wendy at their tasting room in Los Olivos. It's just right around the corner from the cafe. And often you'll find that they are actually there, like more often than not.
That's
I'd
right.
say.
That's right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Shonda.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.